All right, what's up everybody and welcome back to Fab Unofficial. Now, let's talk Arakni, all right? Without an OP schedule, without a lot going on right now, and, as we finish out the year, obviously Dynasty released, but the main bread and butter of what's on people's minds and is being discussed is the new class introduced in Dynasty, Arakni Huntsman. So I wanted to let you guys know some of my thoughts on the hero and talk about some of my experiences. Now, right off the bat, I want to say that Arakni is a massive win for LSS in terms of flavor and feel. I've played both with and against, online and in person, the assassin class and Arakni, and it feels like an assassin. Right, from everything from being able to ditch your equipment and repick them back up by trading in coins, silver specifically, to the contract mechanic and how that interacting with the opponent, it just really feels assassin-y, if that's even a word. So I want to give LSS their props and the design team and the R&D team, but that is, it is a win, and I totally get why a lot of people are being drawn to the assassin class. Now, I want to push that aside for a second, and this is where the title for this video came from, but I have ran into a bit of an issue, mainly playing against Arakni in person, where I have a few worries, specifically for competitive play, but even at things like pro quests and whatnot. But I don't know if you guys, and who of you played Magic. It doesn't matter if you didn't, but I will put a card up on the screen. Now this is Sensei's Divining Top. You don't need to know how to play Magic, and you don't even need to know what it is. But I do want to draw a comparison between this and Arakni's, on-field ability, its hero ability. Now, Sensei's Divining Top was a card that was banned in Magic. It was very good, and it combined with other cards, which made it even better. But the reason why it was banned was because it introduced too many additional gameplay decisions that really slowed down pace of play, especially on the competitive level. Now, Arakni is, and I'll flick that dirty little magic card off the screen, but Arakni is in no way as bad as that, and that's not what I'm saying, but I have noticed when I've played mainly against the people playing Assassin in person, that the addition of an on-field hero ability that creates a relevant decision point for your opponent every single turn really slows down the pace of play. Which, when we move and think about competitive play, especially on the Pro Tour and Worlds level, but even calling and potentially more locally at ProQuest level, when there is something actually riding on that game, when the wins really do matter and every minute detail, as has been discussed, a ton with Fab, every detail and every decision matters. When you introduce another one of those decision points every single turn, the pace of play will slow down, and the games will naturally go longer, especially when we already have heroes like Oldham kicking about in the metagame. I don't even want to think about what some of those matchups are going to end up looking like. But it is a worry. It is pure speculation. It may become nothing, but from my current experience, I do feel like we're going to run into some issues in tournament, in competitive play, where the introduction of Arakni and that hero ability is going to slow down the rounds and drag out the tournament, as not everybody is able to make optimal plays at breakneck pace over and over again, and those people that can't will play slower naturally. Now, that's speculation, as I said. We can see how that unfolds, but it is something that's on my mind, and I am thinking about. Now, I'm going to come right off the bat and say it. I've not been a massive... Assassin and Arakni is not going to be a hero that I will be playing. Despite the flavor, being great, it is not the feel of a hero that I typically enjoy playing as much. But I do want to talk about some of its cards. Like, obviously, Arakni has a ton of 0 for 4s, which are a great rate. We know that based off the old Briar metagame, we can see how good 0 for 4s can be. But obviously, they're great when you have access to Go Again. And that is the big issue I've run into with Arakni, especially playing against better players, is there is a serious lack of Go Again. Now, you can chuck 3 Razor Reflexes in the list straight away. That card is a must. And you have the onboard Black Tech Whisperers. But my experience, Black Tech Whisperers has not been getting it done. Not consistently enough. And the big issue is Fab currently feels like it is built around this idea of pivot turns, right? Block, set up, maybe try and get to a second cycle, and then take some damage to set up a pivot turn where you can then apply the pressure back to your opponent, which is all well and good. But none of Assassin's attacks actually have Go Again of their own regards, except for the weapon, which is an issue because Black Tech Whisperer specifically needs those attacks to hit, which when you're going for a pivot turn or when it's a relevant on hit with some of Arakni's majestic attacks, your opponent sees it coming. They are able to block out. There are plenty of decks running non-attacks, so Spider's Bite doesn't interact and bring them down to a 2-block. There's plenty of equipment running around, and we live in a metagame with Sink Below and Fate Foreseen run rampant. So people are still able to trade 1-for-1 with your attacks and prevent the Black Tech Whisperers from giving Go Again. So the issue is on the turns that really matter most, I felt that Black Tech Whisperers has been a little bit lacking. Now, it does make up for that in the fact that it can block, and when you sack it back, you get it back. So it still makes up its value purely just off being able to block and get points that way. But the on-hit, it's nothing like Snapdragon Scalers, right? And I would even draw a comparison to a ninja card like Breeze Rider Boots. Now, I'll put Breeze Rider Boots up on the screen for you guys that don't know, but this is a card released in Crucible. It was a ninja legs. It blocked for 1. Very, very similar so far. And basically, it read that when a card with combo hits, you can sack the Breeze Rider Boots to give it Go Again and all of your subsequent combo cards that turn. Now, the way that worked was that you were able to you obviously waited to see if the attack hit, and then you got to give it Go Again, right? That's actually better than how Black Tech Whisperers plays out, because your opponent had to make the decision on what they wanted to do before you committed the Breeze Rider Boots. That isn't the case with Black Tech Whisperers. You have to commit the equipment to the attack in the reaction step, and your opponent still has any number of ways to prevent that attack from hitting. Now, yes, would it be good in the aggressive metagame, something like against Phi, where it doesn't block very well and it's not generally playing defense reactions? Sure. But when you start looking at heroes like Icelander, Oldhim, even Dramai, you start to see some of the issues there with the lack of Go Again. And despite all of the availability of the 0 for 4s and even 1 for 5s, it just doesn't play out the way you would want it to often enough, I feel, which is my own issue. You guys may love it. You may have had a different experience, but obviously this is, me talking about some of my experiences with the Assassin class so far. Now, I do also want to talk about some of the fluidity issues I've had with the hero class so far, specifically with the weapon. Now, right off the bat, people saw, a 1-power, 1-hand weapon that had Go Again on board and draw the comparison to something like Harmonized Kodachi. Now, it is definitely not, they are definitely not Harmonized Kodachi. Now, Harmonized Kodachi, obviously, it was 1 cost to attack, so generally you could build your deck where it was a 0 cost blue that you were pitching so that the Kodachi's got Go Again, and that you were able to go Kodachi, and then follow up, hopefully, with a 1 cost for 5 or a 0 cost for 4, and you would still threaten something like a Razor Reflex. and a mass trigger. That was the big thing, and a mass trigger. Now with Spider's Bite, you have to pitch 2. It costs 2. And the main issue this means is that you cannot swing both Spider's Bites off a single card. And the fact that they only represent 1 point of damage means that it costs you 4 resources, so more than a card, for 2 points of damage. And I don't know if you don't make that value up on its ability, because at most you would be negging an attack action 2, right? But then that's still more than a card for 4, right? So it still doesn't quite work out. And then again, past the Spider's Bite, you fall into the issues which we talked about with the 0 for 4s and the go again. So as you can tell, I love the flavor, I love the feel of the assassin class. I expect the hero to be good moving forward, but my main takeaway from playing with the cards in this first week and playing against the assassin class moving forward is I do not think in any way that the lists that are out there now and what people are playing are going to be where this hero ends up. I think you see go again attack and 0 for 4s, and people are playing far too aggressively and even more mid-range. I really see Arakni moving to a place where it is a lot more defensive, a lot more controlling, plays more into the mill strategy, trying to nab really key cards from your opponent's deck, playing to the second cycle where you, again, being able to strip cards and interfere with their pitch stack, where you can really make use of a 0 for 4 as a 1-card hand, where you've been able to block efficiently on their turn, throw a 1 for 4 representing an on-hit, and then arsenal. And I don't see the Spider's Bites, while important, I don't see them really putting in the work in terms of chipping away your opponent's life total in the way that initially was thought with the hero class. Now, again, I could be an idiot. I don't know everything, but this is sort of where I'm at with the assassin so far. I personally am going to be shelving Arakni. I don't see myself really playing too much more assassin moving forward. I'm really excited to, again, dive deeper into Dromai, and that's where I'm going to be focusing my efforts. But yeah, all power to you if you want to. I'm more than happy to talk to anybody that's interested around the class and some of my experiences, so feel free to hit me up in the comments. I'll always do my best to try and reply, or you can message me on Facebook. But yeah, I'm excited to see where the hero goes. I definitely will not be the one taking it there though. But yeah, we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Until next time, we'll catch you later.